Welcome to Mindfulness for Audition Preparation. This clinic includes a structured approach to mindfulness techniques for improved performance in high-pressure situations. We will cover daily habits to promote awareness of our physical and mental states, methods to investigate our emotions and build courage, energetic clearing, and how to develop a pre-performance protocol or routine. I'm Johanna Lundy, and I'm the principal horn of the Tucson Symphony. I teach at the University of Arizona, where both audition preparation and building mindful tools for performance are a main focus of my teaching. Like many professional musicians, I have taken 30 to 40 auditions. I won several, others I advanced to semis or finals, and many I went home empty-handed. I was fortunate to win my position with TSO right when I was graduating with my master's degree. The fact exists that if you want to hold a position with an ensemble, 99% of the time, that means you're going to have to win an audition. In order to convince a committee, we have to be in touch with our authentic musical selves and be able to play at our most full, powerful, and convincing expression. The skills we'll learn today are really applicable to any type of performance. My first experience with meditation and mindfulness began with my father. He learned meditation as a young man and continued to practice it regularly for decades, still doing so today. In college, I started to practice yoga, learning about meditation and deep breathing. I got to know the book Mastery by George Leonard. I continued with the teachings of Pema Chodron, Ben Zander, John Sarno, Susan Jeffers, and others. I was fortunate to study for 2 years with mindfulness practitioner and energetic NLP developer Jeff Tambor, which had a profound impact on my life and career. Most recently, I've been working with Don Green on the topics of motivation and positive energy. Before we begin, here's a little bit of info on what we will and will not cover in this session. I'm going to guide you through several meditations, so you can choose to participate as we go along. We'll learn specific tools and practice techniques that you can use. Many of these practices will be calming in nature. This might seem almost too relaxing for us on a regular day, but remember that when we're about to perform in a situation like an audition, we will likely have a lot more energy than we're used to. The skills we learn here are really how to know and manage your own energy levels. So if you find that you need to increase your energy for a performance, the exercises can be adapted accordingly. Today's topics are presented as ideas only and do not represent advice or diagnosis. If you choose to participate, you acknowledge that you do so at your own risk. Please consult your health professional before beginning any new course or program. What we won't cover today is plenty more that goes into audition preparation, such as practice routines and managing your time up to the audition. We're going to just focus on one element, mindfulness preparation. It goes without saying that rigorous practice, study, and preparation are a given for a successful performance. So what is mindfulness? It's really become a buzzword in our culture today. According to Oxford Languages, it is a mental state achieved by following one's awareness on the present moment, while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations, used as a therapeutic technique. Mindfulness is about knowing the connections between the physical and the emotional parts of yourself, becoming aware of the emotional root causes of physical issues like tension or pain. Mindfulness is also learning to recognize our emotions and experience them. Regular practice of mindfulness supports our ability to focus the mind and let distractions fall away. You can improve your performances by cultivating a calm, concentrated state of mind where passing thoughts roll by you as you perform your best. Remember that auditions often involve travel. Travel can include delays, lost bags, long wait times, racing to connections, dragging your instrument around, and plenty of other uncomfortable moments. Using mindfulness techniques throughout the days leading up to the audition will help you face these challenges and reserve energy for your performance. High-stress performance situations generally cause a physical and emotional reaction in us that can negatively impact the quality of our performances. over the course of a lifetime, changes in performance comfort will occur, and we will experience a variety of performance situations. I call this a heightened state of awareness. Have you ever been in a performance or audition and noticed all of a sudden, what a loud breath I have? Or wait, how do I usually breathe? This is exactly what I mean. If we only encounter this state in performance and not also in our practice, results may vary. When we experience a situation that causes a fear reaction, our brain responds with a hormone known as cortisol. This causes emotional and physical responses in the body, often described as fight, flight, or fight, flight, freeze. Cortisol prepares the body for each of these potential responses. This was vitally important to humans at earlier times in our history, but in our modern world, it gets complicated. While we are hardwired to prepare for fight-flight in the case of a physical threat, such as a saber-toothed tiger coming at us, nowadays the response is often triggered by emotional situations, such as fear or stress. But the effects of cortisol release are not necessarily helpful in dealing with emotional stress. When we think about auditions, they certainly are not a life-threatening experience, but in reality, they are an emotional stress, not a physical threat. Regular practice of mindfulness can help us recognize the body's stress response and manage it for these non-life-threatening situations. Knowing how to experience your emotions and let them go, and having physical steps that slow the reactive response of the body will help us come back down. By following these practices, you will develop a new relationship with yourself, your instrument, and your performance. You will experience more grounded, powerful performances. There are simple tasks we can carry out every day to help us develop mindfulness, connection to our emotions, and courage. Here are a few suggestions. Deep breathing has been proven to beneficially alter our physical and emotional states. Let's begin our first exercise. Close down your eyes and bring your focus to your breath. Notice your body's expansion on the inhale and the gentle contraction on the exhale. There are many ways that we can breathe. For now, breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. You can also choose to breathe out through the mouth, as if you were trying to warm up a mirror in front of you, but with your lips closed. It's similar to the breath used in yoga practices. Slowing down or exhale in particular promotes relaxation in the body. When we take quicker, shallower breaths, the body is heating up, preparing us for fight or flight. When we breathe slowly and deeply, our diaphragm moves farther with each inhale, and we take more air into our lungs. Our exhale activates the body's rest and relax response, in contrast to the stress response. This parasympathetic response causes our heartbeat to slow slightly and sends blood out into the body. Now let's open the eyes as we try a different practice. You can actually try closing off one nostril to breathe in and out, or switch between sides for in and out. According to James Nestor, author of Breath, The New Science of a Lost Art, when we breathe through our right nostril, circulation speeds up and the body gets hotter. Cortisol levels increase. Blood pressure increases. Breathing through the left will relax us more. Blood pressure will decrease, our temperature lowers, which cools the body and reduces anxiety as well. Let's try it together for a few breaths. So let's breathe in and out through the left nostril for a couple breaths. And now, just for kicks, why don't we try alternating? So we'll take each inhale through the left side and each exhale through the right side, switching back and forth. Great. One more approach to slowing down the breath that will be familiar to musicians is using counting. All you have to do is count slowly on your way in and out. I'd suggest around a quarter note equals 60, and see how many numbers it takes. Slow your breath down by just adding more numbers. So let's try a short example breathing in and out through the nose. I'll count it off. We'll inhale for 4 and then out for 4. So here we go. Let's inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do one more. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. So the most balanced way of breathing is believed to be an equal time in and out. But you can choose to elongate the exhale to increase the body's relaxation response. So let's try breathing in for 4 counts and out for 6. So I'll cue that again. Let's inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are you feeling calm yet? Hopefully. Likewise, you can increase your energy and heat up your system if you take quicker, shallower breaths. The few minutes you spend before picking up the instrument is critical in developing your relationship with yourself, your playing, your challenges, and your goals. An intention is basically a goal that you commit to. Your intention on a regular practice day could be something like, I'm going to play with my best sound today, or I'm really going to go for the high note in short call, or I'm going to be kind to myself when I make mistakes. In an audition context, you'll want to simplify your intention to something like, love every note, enjoy my sound in the hall, or simply go for it. Intentions are most effective when there's something that you can control. So I'd steer away from win the audition or advance, although those can be energizing. Craft your intention in the positive and not the negative. For example, I'm going to nail every note, rather than don't miss any notes. However, I really think it's best when we focus on more important elements, like your musical expression, gorgeous tone, bringing to life the voice of a composer, or connecting with your audience. So let's begin. Start by closing down your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Relax any muscles that you notice are tense. Now think about your warm-up, or practice session, or performance. What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to sound like? Imagine yourself carrying out your intentions. This imagination can be as clear and full as you can make it. Keep breathing. This exercise can be useful to do while holding your instrument in your hands. Finally, open your eyes, take a deep breath, and begin with your first notes. Neck tension and shoulder tension, especially on the left side of the body, can be a real issue for horn players. Physical tension can promote mental tension. in addition to limiting our physical ability on the instrument. In order to match and support the force of the horn coming toward our lips, we often send our necks forward like a turtle. Take a minute to tuck your chin and set your head back to align your neck with your thoracic spine or your upper back spine. You can imagine that you're in a car and just gently press the back of your head into the seat behind you. Let's take a minute to rediscover all the possible movements of your head. So, shaking yes and no, or even a free rotation if it feels comfortable. The point's not really to stretch, but to encourage mobility and blood flow. Take a minute to roll your shoulders forward and back. And open up your chest. Finally, lift up through the chest and feel how that naturally brings the shoulder blades back down on the back side of the body. Basic sitting meditation is a Buddhist practice based on focusing on the breath. It can be useful to set a timer before you begin this exercise on your own. I suggest that you err on the shorter side at first, such as 3 to 5 minutes, maybe even 1 minute. You can always lengthen the time in future repetitions. Much like practicing, it's more beneficial to commit to short, regular meditations every day instead of practicing longer meditations, but less frequently. Let's practice this one together. Sit comfortably in a chair or sit on the floor with your legs crossed. If necessary, you can use a cushion to elevate your hips. Let your hands rest gently on your knees. You can close down the eyes or keep eyes open and just relax your focus. Now turn your attention to your breath, gently following it as it goes in and out. No need to control or change it. Just observe and stay present with it. As you notice thoughts arising, label them thinking and let them go. Like watching clouds pass overhead on a summer day. Bring yourself back to your breath. You will again experience the mind beginning to wander. Just notice it and bring your attention back to your breath. When your timer sounds, or right now in this case, take a moment to wiggle your fingers, your toes, or your head before opening your eyes and moving forward. To be truly in control of ourselves in performance, we must recognize all our emotions, not only the positive ones. In the highly competitive world of music performance, we're taught to put up a tough, confident exterior, one that may not be honest with our true selves. I received coaching by many teachers to imagine myself winning and to denounce my fear. But one side effect of this thinking is denying our fears. When we think about auditions, we might experience confidence, shame, arrogance, sadness, anger, joy, or other emotions. In the moment, our minds might be racing between these without us even knowing. I recommend a sincere and more vulnerable approach. Rather than suppressing fears, acknowledge them and then practice courage. Once we acknowledge and feel an emotion, it can pass by as easily as the clouds did in meditation. Here's a protocol that you can use to experience and acknowledge your emotions. Let's take a moment to tune into the body. You can close down your eyes. So we're going to begin working with emotions, and this may not be something that we're used to doing. But I want you to just try your best and ask yourself right now what emotion you might be feeling. We may not come up with an answer to that question, and that's totally okay. Or we might even experience avoidance. Don't take this too seriously, and if you have a thought just pop into your mind, just go with it. So if you've been able to have an idea of an emotion, that's the first step. We're just going to note it and name it. Next, I want you to trust your ability to be with that emotion. Even if it's something maybe a little scary, just know it's part of yourself and you can do it. If you ever begin to be overwhelmed by this experience, remember you can just open your eyes, take a quick look around the room, and remind yourself about current threat versus illusion. You're in a safe place. There's no physical threat to you coming right now. Everything else we're creating inside the mind. Now let's come back to that emotion, and I want you to ask yourself, where do I feel the emotion physically in my body? Describe the sensations of it. Is it heavy? Is it light? Is it smooth? What color is it? Now let's thank the emotion. Again, this can be kind of difficult if it's an emotion that we're not really happy about having, something like fear or anger or sadness. But remember that these emotions are part of who you are. They're part of you. They're you. And they make you who you are in that very moment. So when we can change our relationship to these feelings and accept them, it can be really transformational. Allow yourself to breathe. And you can even soothe yourself. If you're feeling anything in your heart, for example, place a hand over your heart. You could pat your shoulder. Think of what you would do if a baby was upset. And basically, we're all like big babies anyways. So anything you would do to help a small child or a baby, if they were feeling bad, give that to yourself. You could also use energetic discharge, which we'll be talking about in a minute. Now, as you're going along with this, most likely we're going to notice other feelings arise. One may pass, and all of a sudden, you notice another one. It's kind of like discovering different layers. When that happens, just acknowledge it and be with them. So the cycle begins again. But before you go forward, take a moment to celebrate successfully working with your emotions. And as you open your eyes, we'll move on. Energetic clearing, or energetic discharge, is a process using physical movement to release emotional energy and tension, or an emotional process to release emotional and physical stuckness. Here are a few ways you can practice this. Try shaking your hands, or shake anything. You can wiggle your elbows, shake your feet, just give it a try. Something about this movement of basically giving up control and moving things around. It's just really freeing for the body. You could also try physically expressing your emotions. So if you're angry, punch a pillow or punch into the air. If you're feeling sadness, sob or rock back and forth on the floor. You might want to try this when you're by yourself. The process might seem a little unusual, and it's not something we're used to socially, but it's completely natural for us to have these emotions. Just think about babies again. When you see a baby crying, we might get frustrated, but we don't say, "What's wrong with that baby? I can't believe it's crying." Before we have access to language to express our needs, the only way we can express them is physically. If you're curious for more, check out Osho Dynamic Meditation. It's a little bit more out there option, but one that can be really highly effective. You can also use a mental process to clear emotions and physical tension. Since we're talking about auditions, here's a version focused on audition preparation. The night before your audition, you'll likely be staying in a hotel. Be selfish and don't return phone calls and texts. Don't spend time on social media. Instead, do something relaxing, like take a bath or a long shower. Take the time to mentally sing through all of your excerpts. Use your music if you're planning to use it, or go without if you're planning to play without it. Wind down early and lay down. Now, this is the time when you can let your mind run and have some fun with it. Imagine all the people who you might see tomorrow, or the people who you care about impressing or proving something to. One by one, imagine removing them from your mind or your space. Just kick them out. Flick them away with your fingers, or even casually brush them off an imaginary cliff. Like I said, have fun with it. You can even brush away concepts or expectations as well. When you feel like you've run out of content, take a moment to breathe in and connect with the earth, with your own positivity, to who you are and who you strive to be. Practicing courage is not necessarily a mindfulness practice, although you could easily design a practice with it. But it's an important element to great performances and overcoming fear. So I'm going to include a few exercises for it here. Courage is not something we talk about often enough in our society. If you haven't taken a few minutes to think about it, make some time for it. Think through your own lived experiences when you demonstrated courage and write them down. Think of the teachers and mentors that you've worked with who encouraged you. Maybe you've even supported others to take a chance, such as your own students, a friend, or a child. Imagine your first time trying to balance on a log, or ride a bike, or jump rope. Could you share your own encouraging words with yourself? You can create courage goals for yourself pertaining to everyday life or to auditions. For example, I will perform with all my courage and love. I will take chances musically in this performance. I will live with an open heart today. I will take a chance and be emotionally vulnerable. I will admit when I'm wrong. When I feel fear, I will summon courage. Are these starting to sound like intentions? Yep. Let's create a pre-performance protocol or ritual. You can use any of the tools we've discussed today to put together your own repeatable ritual of mental and physical exercises to get you feeling focused and relaxed. You might wish to add physical movement, such as stretching, yoga, or aerobic exercise to your plan. Also highly recommended is to add mental practice and visualization. This is basically an expanded version of what we talked about with intention setting. Imagine yourself at the hall, going through your warm-up, being taken by the proctor to the stage, taking a few deep breaths and a moment to center, then playing through a round, nailing each piece with your musical expression. If you have trouble imagining yourself playing, start by singing through a phrase of your music and then sing an imaginary version inside your head. Go back and forth until perhaps You can even create a clearer picture of what you want to sound like in your mind than with your voice. This is imaginary practice. In your practice, try going back and forth between imaginary versions and playing versions. Once you have your protocol, practice it daily. You can have an expanded version and a mini version that you'll repeat on stage at the audition. The long version might look something like this: 10 minutes of stretching or yoga, 5 minutes of deep breathing, set your intention, 5 minutes of visualization of audition performance. Be sure to go right into playing after this. A short version could look something like this: 3 deep, slow breaths, set your intention, summon courage, imagine amazing sound, and nailing your opening phrase. Again, go right into playing. We've just gone through many processes you can use to improve your performance. It's a lot to take in. Go back and review this video again to take notes or consider practicing the meditations. Remember that auditions can actually teach us mindful practices and help us to better know ourselves. Look, we even found a reason to thank auditions for existing. These practices are actually life practices that can be used at any time. Take a moment to take a breath, close your eyes, and check in with yourself throughout the day. The more you practice these concepts, the more you will tap into your powerful inner expression and powerful, convincing performances win auditions. I have a short list of recommended resources to conclude this session. Please take a look and don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions. My teaching includes meditation and encouraged growth as a musical artist. I bring in expert practitioners and guests regularly. Consider incorporating mindfulness practices into your own teaching or learning environment. And thanks for watching.